It was found inside an old go box bought at a thrift shop, but instead of stones or boards, it came with two curious wooden pieces and about 200 family photographs. Both objects look handmade. One is a small mallet-shaped piece around the size of a phone with an octagonal drum body about 2 inches thick. The other is a much smaller octagonal block, only a couple of inches tall. The larger one has Chinese writing on it that translates to World Games, which makes it seem like a toy or game accessory rather than anything ceremonial or practical. No actual Go equipment was included, so these pieces may have been placed in the box long ago for safekeeping. Could they have once been part of a game or children's activity? It's called Uchida no Kozuchi, also known as Daikokuten's magic mallet. In Japanese folklore, Daikokuten is one of the 7 lucky gods, and his mallet is said to grant wishes, wealth, or anything the wielder desires when swung. Often seen in art and carvings, the mallet represents prosperity and good fortune, a symbol deeply tied to Japanese culture and mythology. It was spotted at an antique market, a curious hollow metal ball with cutout patterns, a latch that lets it open, and a string so it can hang. The first thought might be purely decorative, but the latch suggests it was meant to actually hold something inside. What do you think might have been placed inside it? It's a hanging pomander scent ball. These were often filled with herbs, spices, or scented materials and used to freshen the air, mask odors, or even ward off illness back in the day. Many were decorative as well as functional, sometimes worn or hung in homes. It was found in a thrift store, a cone-shaped piece of metal with size markings stamped into it. The markings read Reynolds, Shell System, S.H. Reynolds Sons Co., 00 Boylston Street, Boston, Massachusetts. At first glance, it looks like a wire gauge, but the numbers go in the opposite direction you'd expect. Instead of smaller numbers meaning thicker wire, it's reversed. That makes it less likely to be a standard wire gauge and more like a sizing or forming tool, maybe tied to the Reynolds shell system for electrical or cable work. What could this cone actually have been used for? It is indeed a dental instrument. It is used for sizing stainless steel crowns. A dentist would trim down the tooth to be able to fit a crown over top, wrap a metal band or wire around the base of the tooth, measure the wire with this tool, and use the number to select the corresponding crown size so it is just right and will snap over the remaining tooth structure. As far as I know, it is not commonly used today. It was found during a tool inventory, a strange metal hand tool with 2 arms that open and close and a button mechanism at the top that moves up and down when the arms are worked. At first glance, it looks like some sort of punch tool, but the motion is unusual. Instead of the top pressing down when the arms are squeezed, it rises upward. The tool has markings including the number 720 and a partially obscured word beneath an old sticker, plus a short 4-digit serial plate that suggests it may be quite old, possibly pre-1960s. None of the electricians in the shop, even the veterans, recognized it right away. What kind of specialty tool could this have been, and what was it designed to punch or press? It was a Green-Lee punch keyway nibbler. Model 720, a specialty tool designed for electricians who worked on metal control panels and enclosures. After a hole was drilled for a switch, button, or indicator light, the device would need a tiny notch so it could lock in place and not spin freely inside the hole. That's where this tool came in. By inserting it into the hole and pressing the button-like jaw, it would shear out a precise piece of metal to form that keyway. The tool had 2 working ends. One side for smaller cutouts of about 20 millimeters, and the other for larger ones closer to 40 millimeters, depending on the device being installed. Instead of relying on a file or improvised methods, this nibbler gave a fast, accurate, and repeatable result that kept installations neat and professional. It was found in an old garage, a curious aluminum tool with some weight to it and a worn finish from use. One end is shaped like a rouleau triangle with three pins on the corners, almost like it was made to fit into a matching socket and twist to lock or unlock. The other end is marked with the number 000501407. The build feels solid enough that it could either be solid metal or perhaps even contain a battery, though there are no obvious openings. It looks and feels like a key of some kind, and not a regular house or padlock key, but more of a specialty service or equipment key. The odd triangular shape suggests it was meant for a very specific mechanism, perhaps a panel, machine, or industrial cabinet. Could this have been a specialized utility or service key? And if so, what equipment might it have belonged to? It was an XT intelligent key system, a type of electronic locking and access control device that combined physical keys with digital security. Instead of being just a standard cut key, the intelligent key contained an electronic chip that communicated with the lock. This allowed it to do things like restrict access based on time, track who unlocked which door, and even disable lost or stolen keys without replacing the whole lock. These systems were often used in commercial buildings, hospitals, or secure facilities where traditional keys weren't safe enough but full biometric systems weren't practical. It was found in a box of miscellaneous machine tools with no markings or insignia to identify it. The piece has a wooden handle that screws up and down into a black painted cast metal body. On the underside of the base are small nubs around a tiny central hole, almost like it should line up with something else. At first glance it looks like a stamp, but there's no stamp face or pattern, just that small hole in the middle that seems too narrow for the stamp portion to pass through. The black circular piece on top is plastic, threaded over a steel screw, and the whole thing feels purpose-built, but oddly unfinished. Any ideas what this odd piece might have been used for? Was a rasp auxiliary handle, the kind that attaches to the back end of a rasp so you can hold it more comfortably and guide it with better control. Instead of only gripping the main handle, this let you apply even pressure with both hands, making the strokes smoother and safer, especially when shaping wood or metal. It was received as a lightweight white plastic tube about 6.5 inches long and 1.5 inches across, with a cartoon cat face that slides off like a lid. On the back there's a sticky strip so it can be anchored to a wall. At first glance it looks like it should hold something bathroom related like a toothbrush or toilet paper, but the sizing and design don't really match up. Any idea what this is made for? It was a cat towel tissue punch-free bathroom hanger, a little wall-mounted storage rack designed to hold toilet paper or kitchen rolls without needing to drill holes. The punch-free style means it just sticks to the wall, and the cat design adds a decorative touch while also serving as a small shelf for keeping things handy. It was found in your elderly neighbor's attic, tucked in among memorabilia boxes. At first glance, it looks like a mismatched set of tools: a clear ruler, a scalpel, tweezers, small scissors, thin metal picks, and a liquid dropper, all gathered into a single case. The mix of items makes it tricky to place. Some look medical, others more like hobby or household tools. Does anyone know what it is? In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, small multi-purpose kits were common, sometimes sold as student dissection kits for biology classes, or as home medical sets for basic first aid, or even as tinkering kits for model building or fine mechanical work. The clear ruler and dropper lean toward educational use, while the scalpel and tweezers point toward a biological or medical angle. So rather than being random, it's likely an old biology or science dissection set, the kind a high school or university student might have purchased decades ago and then held onto.